Hi everybody and welcome to the Full-Time Show, where you get a chance, people out there, to give us your reaction to Arsenal's resounding 5-0 away win against Burnley. Totally dominant performance. We did expect that Arsenal would win, but not many of us, well, I don't know. I thought we'd win, but I didn't think it would be this comfortable. Frank, you saw it.
I did see. Obviously, I didn't see 5. I went for a 3-0 score prediction myself, which would have been, more than enough. But Arsenal seem to be the gift that keep on giving at the moment. What's that? I think that's 14 goals in our last 3. In that time, only conceding 1.
Well, I'll give you a stat. Since the winter break, where we went to Dubai, come back from there, we've played 5 games, won all 5, scored 21 goals, only conceded 2. So that's pretty phenomenal going at the moment. So
maybe we just relocate the team to Dubai and we just never stop scoring.
Yeah, I think we need more trips to Dubai. But yeah, I mean, today was never in doubt right from when Odegaard scored that first goal, and we totally dominated. I think you were saying to me off air that Burnley didn't register a single shot on target.
No, absolutely not. Right? They didn't register a single shot on target, and this is, it's becoming it's becoming a little bit of a pattern. Obviously, we've been defensively fantastic, not only all season, but especially since, like you said, we've come back from Dubai. Like I said, we've only conceded 1 goal in the last 3 games, and that goal was against Liverpool. And then, everyone expects to concede against Liverpool. And I think the beauty of this Arsenal team is we seem to have found some form of rhythm, and it's not in any sort of negative way. We're winning convincingly.
That's right.
We've won 5 in a row for the first time in our history to start off a calendar year. This is the levels that we are speaking about, and this is what I meant when I was speaking earlier in the season about going back to something similar to what we saw at the start of last season. In order to not burn out, doing it towards the end of the season. And if we can keep up this level of form, there is absolutely no reason at all why we can't fight for this Premier League trophy. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, you're right. I guess the only problem is that the other teams around us are playing well as well. I mean, Liverpool today, they did very well against Brentford. I mean, I thought they would win, but I never saw that margin of victory, 4-1. So they're doing a similar thing. And then, of course, Man City are playing as we speak. We'll keep you up to date with their scores as and when the goals go in, if they do. But I'm expecting Man City to win that one. So listen, it's going to be tight there, but we've got to give the guys credit. In terms of today's performance, who stood out for you?
I was about to say there's only one, but there's not, because I think everyone on that pitch, to a man, deserves some form of praise. Even David Ray, he didn't, like I said, didn't have a shot on target. But
I think there was one shot he...
I know the one that you're referring to, which he made the save for. It was a good save, but it didn't register. I think it was going out anyway. Credit to him to make the save, and I will give him that credit. He's turned it around very well recently, because there was a lot of people calling for Aaron Ramsdale to be getting the start, but then and I was one of those people. I did think that Aaron Ramsdale should have been coming into the lineup given the performances that Raya was putting in. But another one, since we come back from Dubai, it just looked unbeatable. And,
the mere fact that we're not talking about him, says it all, really.
That says it all. So
he's not even entered the conversation.
Absolutely. And then, like I said, everyone deserves praise, but for me, the man of the match today, Bukayo Saka, 100%. And I'm sick and tired of people that disagree with me here, but I don't know how you can try and argue the point, and I'm not saying you specifically, of course, but...
No, I'm not. I know the point you're talking about, and I'm not arguing.
I'm not going to call him boy anymore. I'm going to call him Matt. This man is world class. I don't think there's any debate about it anymore when you're looking at the numbers that he's posted. I think I didn't check it. I was supposed to check it after my fan cam, but I'm sure that's goal contributions number 26 and 27.
I know people are putting forward the arguments about big moments in big games, but listen, man, I don't think that's the sole arbiter of something like that. I think
you say that. You look at big games that he's played, and I'm sure he scored a few against City. He scores against Liverpool. He scored Man United. He scores against all those big teams. I think the argument that people are trying to put forward is, he hasn't done it for long enough in the Champions League. That's not his fault. Bukayo Saka started playing in an Arsenal team when we were really struggling. I writ the script for it the other day. He made his debut against Ворskla Poltava in the Champions League, in the Europa League in November 2018. We've only just qualified this season for Champions League since then. So it's not his fault that he hasn't been able to do it at a Champions League stage. That's down to the club. Yeah. But every opportunity he's been given, he's taken it.
I'm with you on that. Although I do see the argument that people like Turkish are making. They're saying that until you get those big moments in those big games, and we see how he plays then, you can't truly call him world class. I guess I see where they're coming from, but I'm with you. I think that given what he's done, the numbers he's posting, I mean, I think you quoted a stat where you're saying at this stage in his career, he's actually posting bigger numbers than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Absolutely. I can get the stat up here.
So if that in itself says something.
No, of course, if I bring it up. So what it is, it's looking at the first 210 senior appearances that they made. So obviously this includes type Ronaldo's time at Sporting Lisbon and stuff like that as well. So in his first 210 appearances, Bukayo Saka has 51 goals and 49 assists. By the same point in Cristiano Ronaldo's career, we're talking 50 goals and 43 assists. So in total, that for Bukayo Saka, that's 100. For Cristiano Ronaldo, that's 93. And bearing in mind, obviously, Bukayo Saka's done it in the Premier League all his career.
And he's done it in teams that are not as successful.
I want to preface this as well, because I said this on the stream, and I think people believe that was me saying that Bukayo Saka was on Cristiano Ronaldo's level. That is not at all what I'm trying to say. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the greatest footballers of all time. I'm not trying to say that Bukayo Saka is of Cristiano Ronaldo's ability, but people at that time, you know, I was probably a bit young by then, but at 22, people were calling Cristiano Ronaldo world class. If you've got someone that's posting higher numbers than him at the same age, how can you say he's not world class?
No, I get it. He's done it for England as well.
I get it. Ronaldo was in Ballon d'Or contention, you know, winning Champions Leagues, but it's not Bukayo's fault that he's not won a Champions League yet. He's not had the opportunity, and the one opportunity he's had.
I do see both sides of the argument.
Yeah, I do as well.
What the likes have said that extreme pressure of Champions League finals and things like that is when you can really differentiate between certain players. So I do see that, but. Having seen this kid come into the team and doing what he's doing and maintaining those levels of excellence and posting the numbers that he does.
Remember, he
is world class.
This is supposed to have been a bad season for him. You know, a lot of people saying that
some people were trying to say that
he's not reached the heights that he had over the last few seasons. Trust me, if this is a bad Bukayo Saka, I'm worried for everyone else when we start to see a good Bukayo Saka. What are we looking at?
I must admit, when people were saying, "Oh, this is not a good season for him," I'm glad to say that I was not one of those people. But just going back to the performance today, I thought it was an excellent performance. Although I expected Arsenal to win, so you know the result is not totally a surprise because I predicted 3-0. They actually won by 5. What I am impressed by is the level of professionalism and the fact that they're becoming dependable now. I mean,
of course,
when we beat Liverpool, I was in that camp saying there's no point in beating Liverpool 3-1 in such a excellent performance if you go and slip up against West Ham.
Of course.
We go to West Ham, we slap them 6-0 on their own ground. Likewise, no point in having those 2 results against Liverpool and West Ham if you then don't go on and beat Burnley, who, let's face it, second from bottom, shipped over 50 goals this season and not in a good place. The manager's not even on the touchline. So I did expect us to win, but the fact that we're gone there today, dominated them, beat them, smoked them really.
Of course.
We're showing that level of consistency that champions.
And that's what I mean when obviously I mentioned about the rhythm and the consistency. And the thing about these last 2 results is, you know, 4-0 up at halftime against West Ham. Normally it would be a case of sit back, save your energy. We've got another game to think about. They didn't do that. They were absolutely relentless against West Ham. They didn't let up. You know, obviously we only scored 2 goals in the second half. But normally an Arsenal team leading at half-time 4-0, the game would also end 4-0. If you know what I mean. This game, it was 2-0 going to half-time. We end the game 5-0. There is no... We've got that... We found that... Sorry to quote John Cena, guys, but we found that ruthless aggression that you need as a title contender. And we're finding, obviously, people talk about, never rule out City because they can go on these run of games where they win 15, 16 in a row. We're starting to put together a run of form. And I'm not saying we're anywhere near that level at the moment, but we're putting together these runs of form. 5 wins on the bounce. It's not to be taken lightly, no matter what team it is. If we can keep these sort of things going, then there's absolutely no reason at all. And it's not me saying we're going to win the league, guys. Calm down. But there's absolutely no reason at all that we cannot be in that conversation come the end of the season.
I agree. Yeah, you've heard what I've had to say. You've heard what Frank's had to say. Let's hear what some of the callers have to say about that. But Michael's on the line.
Hello, Michael.
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Much better now that we've won 5-0. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Well, I'm a little concerned about both Tomiyasu and Zinchenko, that they're not even on the bench. And I think Kiwior did a good job. I'm pleased with the way he's filling in, but I'm a little worried about how thin we are at left back like that. So I don't know what the news is on those two, but it worries me.
I guess there's two ways to look at that, because I did think that as well. It is a concern, these injuries. But number one, I guess you could say a lot of the other teams have injuries as well. And number two, this speaks to what I was saying earlier in the season, is that the guys on the periphery of the team, like Kiwior, when they come in, it's important that when they get their minutes, they show what they can do, and we keep players on the periphery of the team focused and getting minutes, so that when they are asked to come in, they can come in and do a good job, which is what he's done at the moment. But I do take your point. There is a little bit of concern. Jesus as well. 2 weeks in a row now, we've not seen any of those guys. So yeah, and we're facing some massive games coming up.
And obviously, just on that left back front as well, I understand what you're saying, Michael, in terms of how thin we're looking there. Obviously, we had Zinchenko, who would have been starting, Tomiyasu, who's not even a left back but does fantastically in that position. Wouldn't it be a great time for Kieran Tierney?
Yeah, but I think that ship sailed. I think Kieran
he's dropped the ball a bit there.
He's on the record as saying he has no interest in coming back. He's enjoying his stay in Spain.
Can't blame him.
He's getting regular football and he's enjoying the experience. I don't think he'll want to come back. And I do think we've got players now that can cover. I mean, you saw Kiwior today. He's every time I see him, he's looking a little bit more assured in that position.
I think the only difference with the Kiwior situation, though, and Michael, I don't know if you agree with me here. I think he's played fantastic. I think obviously you said he played okay today. I think you've underplayed it a little bit. I think against obviously Burnley today and West Ham the other day, I think you've played fantastically. But I don't feel like we still have that. Obviously, when he came on against Liverpool, great, did fantastic. But I still don't think I have that level of trust in him for the big games. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that?
But the more games he plays, Sorry,
yeah, we may not have a choice if Zinchenko and Tomiyasu are not available. But I mean, what I see happening with Kiwior is the adaptation to playing at left back that we saw from Ben White on the right. That remember a couple of seasons ago when Ben White was shipped out to the right to playing right back, people are saying, no, he's a center back. He's not going to be able to invert. He's not going to be able to make overlapping runs. But he learned. And I see Kiwior learning, like he's inverting well. He's actually contributing in the midfield when we're in possession. So I'm quite pleased with how he's playing. I'm just concerned that we get, Tomiyasu and Zinchenko back to fitness.
No, yeah. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, he's come in. He's not even a natural left back. He's more centre back.
Absolutely.
So he's playing a role that he's not accustomed to playing. But as I said, Michael, the fact that he's come in and done well, that can only give him more confidence going forward. And like you said, quite rightly, he's growing into the role, he's learning. So it's very much a double-edged sword. So on the one hand, our regular guys in that position not playing. However, their absence gives somebody else the opportunity to come in and stake their claim. And I'm sure that hasn't gone unnoticed by the manager. Anyone impress you particularly today?
He didn't score, but Martinelli always draws multiple players to him and opens up spaces in the middle because he's such a danger on the left. Yeah. So I like seeing that. We were complaining in the last few months about our lack of finishing. I think we've shown that they've worked on that now in training. That there was some excellent finishes today. And I think, Arteta is staying one step ahead of the game. He's figuring out how to demolish the low block when we're playing against inferior teams like today. Yeah. And, so there's nothing but good there.
Absolutely. I wouldn't mind betting that when they went to Dubai, they spoke about all these things. And I think they worked on their shooting more often, having the mindset to shoot. That's one thing I noticed. So, for example, Odegaard, that first goal today, as soon as that ball came to him, he got it under control, got his shot off straight away. Now, that is something that we were mentioning in watch-alongs and various different forums for a long time. The lack of people wanting to take it on and shoot. And we're seeing that far more often now. And it's paying dividends because, you don't shoot, you don't score. Simple as that.
Yeah, and you've got to have that to punish teams that are putting 6 and 7 men in the box when we're in possession. If you don't have Odegaard able to shoot and score from outside the box, then they're just going to clutter up the area like that. So I was very pleased to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And where do you think we can take this in terms of?
I do not know why I live to say this thing's yet to do when I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. I think we're challenging for the title. It's all going to come down to our last matches. I think the last month is going to tell the tale.
No, I agree. I think we're very much in it. We just got to maintain our focus, take each game as it comes, and just try and put the performances in. If you put performances in, the results tend to take care of themselves, and we move forward, onwards and upwards. Okay. But yeah, listen, Michael, thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
See you guys next week.
Take care.
Definitely. Yeah, nice one. Take care. Kian is next.
How's it going, Kian?
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm all right, man. How are you doing?
Oh, very happy. Start of the year, 5 wins in the league. Couldn't ask for better, could you?
5 games, 5 wins, 21 goals scored, only 2 conceded, and second in the table to Liverpool.
Are you coming for my job in the information station, Laurie? See what he's trying to do here, guys.
But yeah, it's all good, man.
6 goals for Saka in 4 games as well.
Yeah.
Our star boy, who everyone says is having a bad season, seems to be in great form at the moment.
Yeah, I must say, I was never one of those that was on that. There was a few people on that couch there. And I'm glad to say that I was not one
names.
of them. No, I won't name them. I won't embarrass them. But I will say that there were 1 or 2 who were saying that he was being less than productive. He wasn't having a great season.
I think he went through a spell of 2 or 3 games. I'm sure we can remember that, where he wasn't up to it. And I was actually calling for the likes of Reece Nelson to start over him. But obviously, Kian, you've brought it up. Where do you stand on this whole Bukayo Saka? Is he world class? Is he not? A lot of people have made this argument out.
Rio.
Yeah. I will name names. Rio is you, okay? Where do you stand?
I saw that the other day, and I was like, Rio, that is a stupid comment to make, because I think when you compare Foden, who really didn't star for them in the Champions League last season when they won it, he wasn't really good in the knockout stages. Yeah, he's done well this season, but like Saka, I can see where he's coming from in regards to Saka hasn't won like a Premier League or a Champions League, so maybe that's what's holding him back from getting into that world-class book. I think that's when you look at a star player and a world-class player now, they need to be winning trophies, and Saka's not there yet. If we win a league or win a Champions League this year, say for example, straight away you could easily say he's a world-class player. He's won a trophy.
I understand where people are coming from when they give this argument, he needs to do it in the Champions League. Harry Kane hasn't won a Champions League. Harry Kane hasn't won anything. I don't think there's any debate that he's world class. I think
in my opinion, I agree. I don't think because he hasn't won a trophy. He may, in my opinion, doesn't fall into that world class category like your Mbappe's or your Haaland's. Because
you don't believe he does?
I don't think yet. No, unless he wins a trophy. Because that's what I'm saying. Like Alan Shearer, for example, is a world class striker with Ferreira, but he won something. Like if Kane, to be a world-class striker and to be remembered, you're not remembered for how many goals you scored. You're remembered for how many trophies you won in the end of the day. Like that's what people look at. People look at trophies more than anything, really.
Yeah, I do see that other side of the coin. Having said that, though, when you see what this guy's done and how soon he's done it and the levels of consistency that he's shown since he come into the league.
I'll be completely honest. I would say, just as an Arsenal fan, I'd love to say Saka's world class because, in my opinion, he's like what Salah is to Liverpool. That he's the first player, one of the first players on the team sheet, and he's that player you can't take off the pitch because even when he's having a poor game, he can just interject and create something or grab a goal or assist here and there, even when he's in poor form.
Absolutely, and his mentality is second to none. I mean, he takes the penalties. He has gone through dips in his career, and he's bounced back every time. So he's a super impressive individual. Okay, taking Saka out of the equation for 1 minute. Anybody else that impressed you today?
I just think Odegaard again in the last few weeks has just been phenomenal. I think when you look at this Arsenal team and how we're performing, it just looks so like the Arsenal of last season in the first half of the season. And whether that's Arteta's mentality was the first half of the season, guys, we're not going to play with that start very quickly in a game. We're going to play a bit slower, get into the thing, and then halfway through the season, we'll have our mid-season break, and then we're going to go and we're going to do our big start quick in the game. Obviously, Burnley today weren't great. Like, I think at times we weren't even playing in 5th or 6th gear. We were in like 2nd gear, really, because they were pretty much. I think that's one of the worst performances I've seen from a Premier League side against us. But we still, like, it's great to see that
we show that class. Yeah, we show that class.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said, like, as you said, taking shots from outside the box again. I'm so happy we're doing that, because there's been games earlier in the season where we've been outside the box and we've got clear chances to shoot, and we just try to walk it in and then mess it up. So it's great to see that kind of come back into the game, and we're taking as much as we can in the game.
No, I absolutely agree, and I think that that break in Dubai clearly has made a massive difference, not just in the results, but in the way we play, the mentality. Like you said, the thing about taking on the shots, which is something that myself, Frank, James, Turkish, several others have been screaming for when we watch games on that sofa. We're dominating the games, we're dominating possession, we're creating chances. I mean, it was interesting for the West Ham game. The two West Ham games, the first one we played them at home in December. I think we had something like 30 odd shots on goal. We didn't score in that game. It was
exactly 30, I remember.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then when we beat them last week 6-0, we had 25 shots. The difference was the shots were on target, the shots were more conviction, and the mentality was different, and finishing was different. So
the confidence just seems there in the squad. When we look at it, it's great to see, like, players like Saka, Martinelli just seem like they're in their form now. Like, I'm excited for this Champions League game to see what performance, if we continue this form now, in a big crucial game. Obviously, it's away first, so it's going to be kind of a bit of a different atmosphere to what we're used to in the league, especially, and obviously it being such a big competition. But I think if we play the way we've been playing since the start of the year, I think that we should get a result easily against Porto.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and it'll be interesting. Like you said, it's an away game, different competition. It'll definitely be a sterner test than today's was, I can't wait for it. But listen, bro, thank you very much for your call.
Thank you, Kean.
No worries. And, cheers as always.
We must speak again soon. Cheers.
Yeah. No. Cheers.
Nice one. Cheers. Shuma.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I'm good, man. How are you, bro?
Over the moon.
Good.
Right, take it away. What's your thoughts on the performance today?
Do you know what? First thing I want to say, I want to give you guys your flowers, because you guys have shown why Arsenal Fan TV, or Arsenal Football Club, I should say, is the biggest club in the world for me. I'm an Arsenal fan, from the age of 10. I'm not going to give away my age. And the work that you guys are doing is absolutely outstanding, honestly. The way that you guys are reaching out to different countries, all of you, love immensely watching all of you. So big up to you guys.
Thank you, man. I'm very humbled by that, and I'll pass that on to Robbie. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. In regards to today's game, outstanding.
Yeah,
outstanding.
Agreed.
For me, I think that we've all been crying out for consistency for even many seasons with Arsenal, and definitely, especially this season, considering that we had a bit of a rocky ride during, I think, the Christmas period.
Yep.
And I think what we're starting to see is that kind of amalgamation between what Arteta has learned last season in terms of the fluidity, the fast-paced football, which is almost like you shoot, then we shoot, and then whoever scores the most goals wins the game. Yeah. We're seeing a touch of that with the level of control in midfield and defence, which I think that Declan Rice has been an absolute masterstroke in giving us that control.
Absolutely.
So I think that what we're seeing now is that we're seeing both those styles merging together, and Arsenal being more consistent. We're seeing the goals are coming, but also I love the control that we're having in games. So where last season we saw the goals, we saw the fluidity, it was exciting, it was a bit maverickish in some games, but this season I'm loving what I'm starting to see now, which is the control with the fluidity coming in. And I think
I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And as I was saying earlier, I don't know if you saw, but I was saying that with that trip to Dubai, prior to that trip, we were like controlling games and not converting our chances. But since the break, and I reckon that when they're over there, they spoke about it and they worked on things like shooting and how to break down teams who are overly defensive and stuff like that. I think you're seeing the benefits of that now, and long may it continue. But yeah, I do agree with you. Frank, you got anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, obviously, the big word that you used there was fluidity. And obviously, when you mention about, going back to a style of play that we saw last season, I completely agree with you with the fact that it's looking a lot more similar to what we were seeing last season. And I was in the camp of, we nearly won the league we were playing last season. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So obviously when we went into the season playing completely differently, I didn't know what to think. And obviously we got to the result against Fulham and we drew with them at home, and obviously I was starting to ask questions, but we've held out, top of the table at Christmas. We went for a little bit of a dip after Christmas going into the new year. But I look at this Arsenal team now, and we seem to be reaching a level of consistency, and we look ruthless. I'll say it again. We've got that dog in us. That's the way. That's the way I'll sum it up. And
we've got the pitbull's there.
Yeah, we need that. I think any team that's going to challenge or win a league title or Champions League, fingers crossed. You need that, and I think we're starting to see that from this Arsenal team.
I think definitely so. I think every player is raising their game. I thought that Saka was outstanding. I know there's been a lot of this debate about, is he world class? I think it's all nonsense. I think Saka is world class.
Thank you.
For me, the reason why I feel that is that I don't think that. I think someone in the watch along made a good point about if Saka was, let's say, Spanish in playing for Real Madrid.
Yeah, I'm going to take credit for that.
And what you said, you were 1,000,000% right. It wouldn't even be a debate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to take into account this boy's age.
Yeah.
You've got to take into account that, let's be honest, for the last couple of seasons, he's literally carried Arsenal at his young age. You've got to look at that. The other thing that people saying, but he hasn't necessarily done it in the Champions League. We've got him back into the Champions League, and his numbers are good. But what I say to people is that the biggest stage for me in the world as a footballer is arguably the World Cup.
Yeah,
that's where everyone
didn't think about this.
I did mention that as well. I did mention it.
That because you see those competitions there, you've got the best of the best in the world playing those competitions. And if I remember correctly, was it the World Cup where Saka missed the penalty?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Saka, England might have not even got there as far as they did, because he was outstanding to the point where Grealish didn't get a look in, Foden weren't getting a look in, because he was that dominant.
Yeah.
In those games for England, they had no choice, but he was the first name on the sheet.
Absolutely, and that's two major competitions as well. That's two major competitions, because obviously you're speaking about the Euros, and obviously what happened in the final was unfortunate. But even fast forwarding to the World Cup, England I don't think played that great in the World Cup, but one of the shining lights from that England team, once again, was Bukayo Saka, and that's a really good point you make, because I didn't think about that.
And if you look at the way he bounced back from him when he had the lows of missing the penalty and all the stick he took. To show that level of mental fortitude and come back and still have the seasons that he's having, that's world class right there, man.
Exactly, and that's world class mentality.
Yeah,
people talk about Foden with all respect, and I think Foden is absolutely outstanding. But Foden is in an outstanding team.
Yes, actually.
So Foden's got every tool around him to be an outstanding player.
That's right.
Arsenal are getting to that point where we've got a team now that's challenging, but Saka's been the man in a team that hasn't necessarily challenged, but he's always had good numbers.
That's an excellent point, so because if you're Foden and you're playing with De Bruyne and Haaland and a man like that, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
It's slightly easier than what Saka's got to do. And that's no disrespect to anyone at Arsenal, but it's levels, isn't it? Yeah. So, you're absolutely right, bro. But I just want to ask you quickly, obviously another great result today. Liverpool won today. Obviously, we think that Man City are likely to beat Chelsea.
Still 0-0, I don't know.
Still 0-0. But I would imagine that City will probably end up coming out on top. In terms of winning the title, where do you think we stand? Where do you think we'll end up?
That's a hard one,
It is.
I can see that you want to see we're going to win it, but you just never know.
Do you know what it is? Is that I feel we've got a better squad than we had last season. I think, like I said, Declan Rice has been a huge factor in that for me personally. Like I said, I like the fact that we're coming into, it seems, a period of getting that balance with fluid football, but the control and the defensive tightness, which maybe I think nearing the end of last season especially, we lacked more in regards to defence. Sod it. I think we're going to do it.
Yes, there we go.
I like that positive.
You're the first one I've heard say it.
I like
there we go.
But, I mean, look, I think that the only thing that I would say is that I think Liverpool have got. So I think Liverpool are going to drop points. I sense Liverpool are going to drop points. I think that the Liverpool game against City is a big game. And I think our game against City is a big game. I think that it might well be the case in those games that are going to be the deciding factor as to, where the title goes. Because I think that on the form that we're showing now, on the form that Liverpool showed, although like I said, I think they've got points, and the form that Manchester City, we know, demonstrated season in, season out. I just feel that, those two games are going to be the deciding factor. I'm going to say Arsenal because I'm biased. But I mean, look, if you had to bet your life, you probably would say Man City because they've proven it time and time again. But I just think it's really open. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I know a lot of people saying, Man City outright, Man City will do it. I don't think so. I think it's, literally, my maths is terrible. Split 100% 3 ways. I think everyone's got a stake in it.
33.
I really do.
33 continuous.
Okay, bro.
Everyone has a chance of winning.
I love the positivity. I love the call. Thanks very much for the comments you made at the start of your fan cam, man. Really, really appreciate that. Like I said, I will be passing that on. And listen, bro, please ring back. Man. Speak very soon.
You guys keep up the good work, honestly.
Respect, man. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah, wicked.
Nice one. We got Elliot next.
Elliot.
There he is. From the T-Dot.
Indeed. Laurie the Frank, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Absolutely buzzing.
Listen, I'm so glad my English cousin just called. I've been telling him for weeks, please get your ass online. It's getting embarrassing that you keep calling me and telling me that, you want to get on. And I say, hey, all you got to do is call. And he did. And look, he did a wonderful job.
Was that your cousin? The last guy?
No, he is not. Look, come on, the Frank. Right. No.
You saying he looks like him?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Apologies.
There you go. I knew the comedy was coming soon. There it is. Fair enough. Okay, mate. Well done.
Right, Elliot. So what do you make of today then?
Listen, we are irresistible at the moment. We're very much irresistible. And listen, as you were saying in your fan cam there, Laurie, do buy again, please. Whatever they were sipping, whatever they were eating, whatever vitamin D they got from that sunshine out there, bring it back again and again and again. Lord knows, it's like the white rays on Superman, man. We seem to be another person altogether, another team altogether. This Jesus, 11 goals in 2 matches. The Premier League is scared of us now, man. And I would think that Porto see us as a much rougher opposition going forward into this Champions League match. I mean, listen, and this is with us having a injury crisis.
Yeah,
we're in an injury crisis now, people.
Right, yeah.
But I suspect that I think that Arteta's keeping his powder dry and being quite coy in terms of the injuries because I think that he's
That's interesting.
Yeah, I do. No,
So you think that the likes of Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Jesus, Partey, you think they're ready to come back, but he's just keeping his cards close to his chest?
It's a dangerous game to play.
I think so. I think so. I think he's keeping his cards close to his chest, and against Porto, I think he'll unleash hell. I think he'll bring back a lot of those players that I think Vieira's ready. I think Tomiyasu's ready. I think he's holding them in. I think Zinchenko is somewhat ready. I think Partey, to be fair and frank, is a bit ready as well. I think he's keeping his cards close to his vest. He's being very coy. I think Arteta over the years has become very coy in terms of how he reveals who his players are. and when they'll be revealed. It's like you don't want to give away your secrets. And I think he's learning from Formula One. You don't want to give away, those little.
I do see where you're coming from, because of course all of those aforementioned players are actually in training. It's not like they're not in training. They are. So they must be close to a comeback. So you're saying that as the games get progressively harder, he will slip them in as and when.
Yes, I agree. I think he's learned from last year. I think he went full throttle last year, and it cost him in the end. I think now he's just drip feeding. Just okay. All right. We need this match. Okay, I'm going to put these two. Oh, we need this match. Okay, I'll put these. So he's starting to I think he's. I didn't say he's learned from Pep in this instance, but I think he's understood that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and quite simply, it's a title that needs to be adjudged, with a good amount of common sense, and common sense dictates that you need players for the long haul, and the more. And number two, he's testing the depth of his squad. I think he wants to have as many players, viable, technical players as possible in order to move forward. I think he's boxing clever. I think.
Right. Okay. In terms of today's performance, who stood out for you today?
Odegaard is back to Asgard. I think he's
great, and that's great.
He's back to Asgard. Listen, man, this guy's got Thor-like mentality, man. Listen, that Norseman is coming up trumps, quite simply. He is. I don't know what's in his feet. I don't know. The fitness level of this kid needs to be absolutely taken into account. This guy runs miles, and from minute 1 to minute 90, he doesn't drop off. Do you see him drop off when he's trying to close down players, especially when he's running forward and running? He is just.
He leads that press, doesn't he? And like you said, it's consistent and dynamic throughout the.
Chelsea are winning 1-0. Sorry to cut you off there.
Chelsea winning 1-0.
Chelsea are winning 1-0 as well. I've just seen it in the chat. I hope it's Cole Palmer, because I've got him in my fantasy team.
Oh, that'd be excellent. Yes, indeed.
That does Cole Palmer? I really hope so. Was it Cole Palmer? Can you get information on that?
Yeah, get confirmation of us, Frank, please. It is if that is great, that is excellent. So Odegaard, man of the match by far. Saka, who says he's not world class? Whoever says he's not world class needs to be examined at the highest psychiatric level. It's DSM-5 level he needs to be. I think being very narcissistic if they believe that Saka is not world class.
Apparently, it was Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling.
Against his former club. So another ex-Manchester City player strikes against them.
Yeah, I'll take it. Absolutely, I'll take it. Well done, Chelsea. More.
Still a long way to go, but we'll take that.
I never thought I'd be in a position where I found myself cheering for Chelsea. It's a strange feeling.
No. It is strange. It is. Could have happened to a better club, the £1 billion loss. Anyways, Saka, excellent. Listen, Martinelli, that whole front line, Trossard, the names just roll off the tongue. Saliba, world class.
I'll tell you what, let me ask you, I'll throw you a curveball. What do you think of Havertz today? Now, this is a man that divides opinion. He polarizes the fan base perhaps more than any other player currently. Actually, I won't say what I thought, mate. What did you think about him today?
Listen, he took his goal well today. It was against the run of play. It was a high level of difficulty with it, and he took it well. If not for that, is he a passenger? No, but did he help our play? Okay, but listen, if he chips in with goals, that's what we want to see as end product.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right? You need end product. If you don't bring end product, we have a problem. We got a problem. But
that's exactly what I was saying, to be honest. I said that in terms of his overall play, he had some nice touches here and there. It didn't really stand out as such. But once he got that goal, that's something tangible that you can hold on to and say, listen, he played his part in that 6-0 win. 5-0 win, sorry.
He did.
So, yeah.
He did. I think everybody played their part today. I think everyone was excellent. Kivior, listen, man, let me tell you something. If Dubai improved Arsenal, it definitely improved Kivior. since he's come back, listen, he's played. He's played out of his skin, really.
In fact, what I would say with Kiwior, he's getting better and more assured with each game. But listen, Elliot, we do have to move on. We've got some more callers waiting in turn. So listen, bro, thanks very much, and
thank you, Elliot.
Speak again soon.
Laurie, Frank, thank you very much. And again, I hope we have a bang-up game in the midweek because we're going to need it.
Nice one.
Take care, Elliot.
Right, sure.
We've
got Zach on the line. Zach.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
No worries, bro. What was your thoughts on today's performance?
We played a flawless 90 minutes for the second week in a row.
Yeah, and pretty much.
Yeah, like I can't ask for a better match. Just honestly, I have more to say about Burnley than I do about Arsenal. Just they're very worrisome.
Are they that bad, or did we make them look like extra bad?
Probably a little column A, a little column B. Like we played world class today. Everyone on the field, just fantastic. Like there's no errors from anyone that I think really stuck out. No foolish cards. No foolish mistakes that led to.
It's a very professional performance. Very professional.
Any time that we lost possession, we immediately got it back.
Yeah, that's true.
So like,
I don't know about you, but as soon as Odegaard scored that goal, he got it nice and early as well.
Kind of knew
that gave me a level of comfortability that I thought, we're going to be all right today. I just never ever felt particularly troubled by even when they had flashes here and there. He got snuffed out by Saliba, Gabriel and co. Man, I just never, ever thought that Burnley would give us a game.
I wasn't worried. Just from the 11 that they put out compared to what we put out, we had the better players on the field. And just immediately from the get-go, we had control of the match.
Yeah.
And like I said, we just kept them at arm's length.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the type of play that we can beat any team in England and in Europe. So while I think we're not in the driver's seat for winning the Premier League, we can definitely really advance far in Europe, because
I really hope
just the way that our defense is stout, our midfield is strong and physical, and now we have the finishing in the attacking front. Like there's nothing and this is with our injuries.
Yeah.
Imagine with having our starting defensive midfielder from last year, Thomas Partey, back.
Yeah.
Imagine getting Jurrien Timber, who is someone who I've rated very highly from the start, and it's a shame we haven't been able to see him this year. And I think he's just going to be able to elevate our defense to another level. And with how we've played so far this year is, saying something.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely.
Just on that Thomas Partey thing as well. Obviously, you've mentioned about Thomas Partey, and I think most would assume, when he's back from injury, he's gonna slot straight back into the team. Where do you stand on this? Because obviously, you look at the players that we've got in that midfield. Obviously, I know it was Havertz today, but the likes of Jorginho have stepped up in his absence and have played pretty well. Are you in the party of people that believe that Partey should be stepping straight back into that team once he's back from injury?
It's tough because Declan has played so well in the six that it's tough to say Thomas automatically deserves to have that sixth spot back. But I think with our best 11 has Thomas Partey and Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard in the midfield. I just think that's our strongest midfield pairing, or triple pairing.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And obviously, you mentioned earlier that you believed everyone played world class, and we've asked everyone this question so far. Where do you stand in terms of this debate that's been, it's been everywhere recently? Bukayo Saka, yes or no, world class?
If he's already in the if there's a conversation about him, he's already there, in my opinion.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Just what he does on the pitch is incredible, and not just what he does for Arsenal, but what he does at an international level. He is a bedrock of all the teams that he plays for, and for his age, that is just incredible. There aren't many 22-year-olds that are able to handle that type of pressure, and not only handle it but exceed. And he's he's got all of that qualities and more. And if people don't think he's world class, they just haven't seen him play enough yet.
No, I agree with that. You pretty much said what I've been saying as well. So yeah, listen, bro. Thank you very much for your call.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm liking that beard, man. Every time I see it, it's making me jealous. Every time I see that, I think, yeah, maybe I should start growing one.
I'm getting there.
Okay. But listen, bro, thank you very much for your call. Yeah, man.
I appreciate
nice one.
it. You guys have a good one.
Take care.
And you. All right. Harry.
Hello, I wish you didn't say about the beard, because now...
What a great way to start this
off. It is, man. It is. When you see one like that, you got to give the man his props, you know what I mean? Yeah,
I was trying to zoom out for you. Yeah, very happy. Obviously, why wouldn't I be? All I was thinking that whole game was the Mbappe kind of discussion this week is, I don't think we need him. I think Mbappe can stay for Real Madrid. Generally, I don't think we need Mbappe. I think we're doing enough without him. We almost done it last season. We kind of just derailed towards the end. But I just see this team. I just feel like Mbappe might ruin us.
So I think we need to. There's a lot to dissect here. Okay, I think this is throwing me off quite a bit. I didn't think I'd ever see anyone say we don't need Kylian Mbappe. Why are you of that opinion? I'm just because I think a lot of Arsenal fans. Don't get me wrong, we've scored a lot of goals since we've come back from Dubai, but I think it's quite clear that we need a consistent striker within this team. You know, Gabriel Jesus is no doubting his ability, but it's his availability. I don't think Eddie Nketiah is that guy. Sorry.
No, listen, no. But I've never said that he was. All I'm saying with regards to the fan base is that they're a bit harsh on Eddie. But anyway, I don't want to let Eddie dominate the discussion. The caller, you tell us why, or tell Frank why you don't think we need Mbappe.
I don't want to ask you another question, but why do we need him? We've scored 5 today. We scored 6 against West Ham. We dominated Liverpool. We've dominated pretty much, I don't want to say every game, but every game we've looked comfortable. I don't think we've been battered by any team this season for what I can remember.
I think I've potentially got the answer to that question. I think with Mbappe, we don't score 6 against West Ham, we score 12.
Okay.
That's the differences that I think we're talking about when you're talking about a player. This is the likes of a Kylian Mbappe are the generational talents that you speak about, that you see once every generation, quite literally generation. I think you're looking at the likes of a Messi, Ronaldo sort of player. You're looking at the likes of an R9 sort of player in terms of the level of ability that we are talking about in a single player. I think it would be insane not to try and go for a player of that ability, just in my opinion.
Do you not think though his level of calibre, it'll be like an Aubameyang kind of situation where there's a bit of an ego there. You know, he's a high rated player. I just think at the moment, I'm not saying he's not going to score a goal. I'd love to see him in a Prem, don't get me wrong. I would love to see the Haaland versus Mbappe, because it would be like the new Ronaldo versus Messi. I just think for us, we don't play in the style of, you know, even with Jesus, we don't play in a style of the wing is just possible to our striker. He scores, and that's where we get all our goals. They come. Mind you,
Mbappe can play off the wing as well. I've seen him do that for France and PSG. Yeah, so.
But in replace of who, Saka or Martinelli? Because I know it's a bit of a...
Yeah, it is. It'd be a case of just accommodating players around him. But I've got to say, I'm with Frank. I think he's the best player in the world. I think Haaland's probably the best goal scorer, best natural number 9. But in terms of the best player in the world right now, I would say Mbappe. So by virtue of that, I'd love to see him at Arsenal. I would say, though, I doubt very much whether it's going to happen.
I think he's destined to go Madrid.
Yeah.
Do you think if we had Mbappe at the start of this season, that we would be top of the league?
Yeah.
Quite comfortably.
All right.
But in terms of what you saw today, I mean, obviously you were impressed by the performance today. You've said so yourself. Do you think we can go on and win the title, or is that a silly question? Do you think? Yeah.
I think it was, the start of the season was slow, and the more games you play, the more I think it's intentional. I think I'm seeing that Arteta wanted us to start off slow like a marathon instead of a sprint this time. Last season we went all guns blazing and burnt out essentially towards the end of the end of the season, so I can see where he's kind of paced ourselves this time round, and I don't see why not. The thing I keep getting told by, as soon as the game was over, the thing my mates kept saying to me is, "Oh, it's only Burnley," and that was mainly Spurs fans.
Shock.
When they were raving, when they won 5-2 was it? They won against them. We never heard the end of it. They said they was going to win. They won 5-2.
Well, were those mates of yours saying that when we beat Liverpool 3-1? You see. So.
And to add to that, were your mates saying it was only Wolves when they lost to him today?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the first thing I said. Stop them, get battered. That's exactly what I said. But yeah, there's no place for some people. But yeah, winning the league, I think we will. I don't like saying it because I don't like bringing in, can't.
You don't want to jinx it.
But yeah, I generally think we will, just because we've got the momentum now. I think we've had our rut, which thankfully only lasted a while. I think time will tell. The North London derby will be a big one for me. Seeing it, I'm not sure. When's that in March? Is it the end of March?
I believe it's early April. Let's have a look.
I thought it was April. Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be a big teller for me, because they're not playing poor, are they, this season?
End of April, April 27th.
Yeah, April. Yeah, okay, sure. So yeah, I definitely think we've got what it takes to win the league. I think Arteta's learned from last season, which is good to see.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think we can do it.
I like your confidence, bro. I like your confidence. Yeah. And just one thing in closing. Porto next week. How confident you are in that competition, Champions League?
It's the same as what I was like with Burnley. I think we should be able to roll them over, but football's football and anything can happen.
Yes,
with this momentum, I'm going to predict a 3-0 win. But
if they can get that would be amazing, because that's to get 3-0 away. That's
3-0 away and bring that back to the Emirates.
That's pretty much game over.
You would get to the point where you want to say game over, but then you've seen the magic of the Champions League.
But with our defence, I don't see us conceding 4.
It definitely helps. That's for sure.
Well, listen, bro. Thank you very much for your call, and must call back soon. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Nice one. Take care. Cheers. Javi's our last caller, and he's got the honour of taking us out. And looking at Javi there, he looks.
I've noticed over the last couple of games you've been smiling a lot more recently.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't
you? Yeah, for real. I mean, gentlemen, take out your diary and mark this down. This is the first time I'm going to come on here and have nothing to complain about. I mean, it's a first.
Wow.
I never thought I'd see the day.
Right. I mean, who would have thought that Arsenal playing against a team that's only gotten 13 points and actually scoring goals and getting a clean sheet, and Arteta making the right substitutions would actually cause me to be happy? Who would have done that?
It's interesting you say that, because just before he made those substitutions, I actually said on the watch along, it's about time he brought on the subs now. Not just because of you want to see other guys come on, but you got big games coming up. Players need to be rested, and not only that, the guys on the periphery of the team need to come in and show what they can do. So, for example, Kivior's come in a couple of weeks straight now. He got his opportunity. He's come in and he's embraced it. He's took on the challenge. He's looking good. And I was saying to the guys that is what we want to see in other positions as well. Guys who are on the periphery of the team, when they get their opportunity, they need to know that they can come in and be competent and fit into the team. So I was pleased for Kivior today. What was your thoughts on Kivior today?
I always liked Kivior. I think that sometimes he was, put out on the left-hand side and forced to invert, which was never really that comfortable for him. But when we saw him come in for the injured Saliba last season, he actually put in some very, very good performances. And we're all saying that he should have started, and that, Arteta bringing in Holding was a mistake. And I think that he finally figured out, and I think it's something that I think people have been calling for, is to invert Ben White, so then have Kivior be in a more natural, all-out defensive position, and I think that bodes well. Zinchenko's a fantastic player to go ahead and invert, but I think Zinchenko is better utilized when we play against low blocks. When you play against big teams, or you're playing against very, very tricky wingers, you don't want to see Zinchenko on that pitch because he's going to be exposed. So good to see Kivior step in. I think he's doing very well, and for the price tag and his age and what he's been brought in to do, which is to be a backup to Gabriel. Not only do I think he's more than adequate in fulfilling that role, but now he's showing that he can actually play at left back in Premier League games and look solid.
I completely agree with what you're saying there, because I feel like he's in a similar boat to the likes of a Jorginho, that kind of signing, and it's obvious what he was brought in here to do. So for me, anything above that is a bonus. Well, I use Jorginho as an example. It was very clear what Jorginho was brought here to do. He was brought here to make up a number in the squad, and minus the Spurs game, which I think he gets a lot of unnecessary stick for, in terms of people evaluating his entire time at the club. I think Jorginho's done fantastic for £12 million on a squad player.
He's overachieved.
He's overachieved in my opinion, and I think it's the exact same situation. I think Kiwior is massively overachieved in a sense because he's had to learn a new position while he's here. Obviously, we brought him in as a centre-back. He was a player, don't get me wrong, that could play left-back from what I understand, but this whole inverted situation, it's completely out of his comfort zone. And I feel like once we've seen, since, like you said, Laurie, since the return from Dubai, has been a completely changed Kiwior. We looked at him previously, and I think it was the Europa League games against like PSV and stuff like that, where he really seemed to struggle in that inverted role. But ever since the return from Dubai, it looks like a new Jakub Kiwior.
I just wanted to ask, Jan, what do you think of the recent renaissance of Martin Odegaard?
I mean, it's good to see. Isn't the reality is every single one of these players, I think, bar Declan Rice, has been very quiet and seen the shadow of their former selves last season. So I think that naturally everything is just sort of clicking now. I think Martin is realistically our only real all-in-out creative outlet in that midfield.
Yeah.
And so that burden falls on him. And it's not an excuse because, in my opinion, he has more than enough quality and football IQ to take on that responsibility and excel. And we've seen him do that, and I think he can do that. This is also a player that's been exposed to the world stage at a very, very young age and was promised to be the next big thing, and he needs to deliver on that. So I'm very pleased to see that. We've often seen City in past seasons start off slow and then go into a different gear in the
we're breaking up slightly. Can you hear us? No.
I think we lost him.
We lost him. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. I think he was he was making a great point there, to be fair. But yeah, you make the point about Martin Odegaard, and have you summed it up perfectly there. This is a guy that's been on the world stage since the age of 15. And,
he's a phenomenal talent.
I think at the time they were saying Norwegian Messi, but for me he's another one that's in that world-class bracket.
No, I mean he's arguably 2 back-to-back man of the match performances. I mean I know last week it was all about Declan Rice and stuff, but he was brilliant last week, and same again today. And I think it was somebody said that he kind of I think it was James who said he epitomises the way we've been playing at the moment, and I definitely agree with that. We got Xavi back? Yes, he's back. Yeah,
he's back. There we go.
Right, okay, Xavi.
I echo a lot of those sentiments.
Yeah, we got to go out soon, so take us out on your thoughts of the game overall, and where do you think we stand in terms of the ultimate, which is trying to lift that title come May?
I still don't think we will do it. I still think this is City's title to lose. We still have some difficult away grounds to go to, Tottenham and City, of course, being the most notable ones. But hopefully with players coming back from injury, that'll be reinforcements, and we'll be able to have, I think, an even stronger starting 11. But I must say, gentlemen, I want to contribute to this. Saka is not world class. I am sorry.
Right. No, listen, come on, Frank. We've got to hear him out. Xavi's a much respected contributor to this channel, and if he says that, then I've at least got to, take him seriously and allow him to explain why he thinks not.
Why?
I must say, I think he is. Frank certainly thinks he is, but Xavi, you don't, and I respect that, but gives you reasons as to why not.
I think he will be. I think he's on the verge, and I think he has all the attributes and talents to become that. But I think that, first, let me caveat and say that I think that right now he's definitely one of the better players in his position. But I think in the current stage of football, there aren't that many world-class players. And if you look at some players in just a couple of recent years who played in those winger positions, you have Gareth Bale, Mbappe, Neymar, Salah, Robin, Hazard, Mane, Messi, Ronaldo. I mean, that's a different caviar fit.
Yeah. But it begs the question: how do you define world-class player? Because that's what I often ask people when they say.
That's the thing. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, how do you define world class? I think world class are players who are just at a different level. I mean, it's really hard to qualify with an actual definition. But I think Bukayo Saka right now is where Leroy Sané and Raheem Sterling were when like City was high and flying. I think he's where perhaps maybe a Frank Ribery or an Alexis Sanchez when he was at Arsenal and sort of, doing that. I think that's where he is right now. I think he's just right under that, It's like comparing Bernardo Silva to Kevin De Bruyne, Kevin De Bruyne is world class. Bernardo Silva is right there.
Javi, just out of interest, because I've got a stat here, right? I just for the first part of this question, I would just like a simple yes or no answer if possible. Do you believe that Mohamed Salah is world class?
Yes.
Okay, so to follow that up, since the start of the 2021-22 season, Bukayo Saka and Mohamed Salah are the only two Premier League players to have registered 40+ goals and 30 assists. Just obviously, I'm not trying to disrespect your opinion or anything. I'm just genuinely interested to know if Bukayo Saka is matching the numbers that Mohamed Salah is. Why is it that Bukayo Saka isn't in that same group?
Because I don't think stats tells everything. Like, for example, who do you think is the better creative and passer, Iniesta or Cristiano Ronaldo?
I think you cut off a bit there. What did you say?
Who do you think is a better passer and creator, Iniesta or Cristiano Ronaldo?
Iniesta.
But Cristiano Ronaldo has more assists than Iniesta in his career.
Oh, all right, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. But do you not think it's potentially? Yeah. Do you not think that's potentially because obviously we mentioned Mbappe a moment ago? Do you not think that's because the likes of a Cristiano Ronaldo again are a generational talent, and that's a completely different kind of world class?
That's also an argument. I think that we're just a little. We're jumping a gun a little bit on Bukayo Saka. Like, if I had to bet my whole entire life savings on whether or not Bukayo Saka will become world class, like, to me that's an easy bet. Yes, he will become that. I think he's perhaps still 1 or 2 years away. Is he at a different level for his age? Yes, but let's also keep in mind that he's 22, 23 years of age. We've seen Ballon d'Or winners in the past when at that age. Neymar at that age was in a different level. Like, that's world class, and that's a player who never even actually put his hands on that coveted award. Like, there's different levels, and a lot of those players who I listed off to you, the likes of a Hazard, Ronaldo, Sadio Mane, even when he was in his prime at Liverpool, I think there's still a level above that. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to become that. And the reality is that the player at Arsenal Football Club right now that is closest to world class is Declan Rice. I think he is head and shoulders above everybody else at Arsenal Football Club.
I would certainly put Declan Rice in that world class level, but I would put Saka in there too, based on what he's done, the impact he's had, his age, the way he's handled his career, the ups and downs, the way he's bounced back after the stuff that happened when he was with England, and just the way he conducts himself in general. I think all of those contributes for me to him being a world class player. But I do agree with what you've said there in terms of there's still a lot more to do, and there's going to be bigger challenges for him to overcome in the years to come. So let's see how he does it. But I kind of agree with both of you, to be honest. I'm not copying a plea. I'm not sitting on the fence, but you both make salient points
right now. But that's the thing, if he's world class right now and then he goes up another level or two, then where do you put him? Like, if we all know he has more levels to go, and I think it's obvious, then it's just like, well, then what's above world class? Then you're going to Ballon d'Or category. And
this is what I'm saying, elite level, because I think you got goods, you got very good, you got world class, and then you got elite.
That's
players,
what I'd call the generation,
which is Mbappe and 1 or 2 others. And Haaland.
I think right now he's on very good. He's on very good.
Right,
it's like Bernardo Silva. Do I think he's world class? I think Bernardo Silva has had world class moments. He's even had world class seasons. But then he goes down to perhaps the very good. There aren't that many world class players in world football today, gentlemen. There aren't really that many players that really make you get out of your seat. I think football's become so much more system based that even that gets suppressed a little bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you take a player out of those systems and they look like a completely different player, like a Sterling. Yeah. And so I think that Bukayo will become that, but it's still in the early days. But it's still a good player being very good versus.
I mean, these things are subjective, and we all have our own opinions. But yours is to be respected, Jeremy. So you don't quite think we'll get it across the line in terms of the Premier League, but we do have the Champions League, of course. We've got Porto coming up in midweek. I guess my question's in 2 parts. Do you think we can get past Porto? And if so, do you think we can go on how far do you think we can go in that competition?
The Champions League is one of those competitions where it's only 7 games, and so anybody can win it. I think City should walk it, but realistically speaking, depending on how we get them, or especially if we can get them in a final, anything can happen in a 90-minute game. Mm-hmm. And I think we've already shown that over the course of 90 minutes, like, we can probably beat the likes of the City.
We've beaten
and there's no real other club right now that is like that great. Again, that just goes back to the point I'm making. There aren't many that world-class players at the moment, and there's no real team that's that great. You know, Real Madrid, they're great, they're good, but they're not the Real Madrid of old. Neither is Bayern Munich, who's struggling against Leverkusen. You know, it's really, I think, between City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and then Madrid, just because they have that prestige and then, you know, they have that history, and that always shines through in the Champions League. So as long as I think we do our job, there's a chance that we can win it, because I think it can happen over the course of 6-7 games. But that's why it's a different kettle of fish over the Premier League, because that's across 38, and that's where your debilitating factors, I think, come to the fold. We've seen the likes of Thomas Tuchel, you know, have what I call an act of terrorism and cheating his way to a Champions League trophy with that Chelsea squad, and that happened. So I see no reason why Arsenal couldn't do that, but I think at the very minimum, quarterfinal is what I wanted, but I would like to see at least a semi-final.
Intriguing. Okay, listen, thank you very much, Xavi. Great call as always. Thank you so much for calling in. Hopefully speak to you after we beat Porto on Wednesday.
Take care, Harry.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Pleasure seeing you both again.
And you, man. Have a nice weekend. Take care. Right, that's it for our callers. So just in summing up, like I said at the top of the show, a very professional performance today from Arsenal. It was a win we needed. They've gone there and done pretty much what we expected and more. And they're starting to make me believers, man. Especially as if Chelsea can see it out, then that will be massive.
I want to say it. I really want to say it, but I said it last season, and I had my heart broken. So that's why I'm reluctant to say it.
I did say a few weeks ago.
Do you not compare it to? It's like trying to tell someone that you love them for the first time, and you don't want to say it because you don't know what's going to happen back.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that we're going to win this league at this point.
I think it's
and Javi made an excellent point there when he said, you know, we've still got Spurs to go to, we've still got City to go to, we've still got to play. Don't get me wrong, it's not the same Chelsea side that it has been over the last few years, but it's still a Chelsea side nevertheless. Really gave us a competition at Stamford Bridge, of course.
Well, they took 2 points off us,
and they're beating Man City at the moment. So you know, it's going to be a tough end to the season. But this is where champions will show. For me, you know, over these last 3 games, I'll be going back to what I was saying last season about sign of champions. I would say that over these last 3 games, but we've got to get these difficult fixtures out of the way, and then we'll see who's lifting.
But you can only beat what's in front of you, and Arsenal did that today in a very impressive style.
Absolutely.
We roll on to midweek where we got Porto, and then after that we got Newcastle. There's big games coming up. As I said to the guys before, we just got to take each game as it comes and try and win each one. If the performances go well, the results normally do take care of themselves. But on that note, thank you very much, Frank, for appearing with me today on the full-time show. Thanks, everybody, for calling in. Thanks for all those people who engaged with us online and who's watching, and all the people who support AFTV and support Arsenal. AFTV being your one-stop shop for Arsenal content. Keep it locked and loaded on AFTV, and we will be back real soon. Check us out in the week when we play Porto. We will be covering that game on our watch along as usual. Thank you very much. We are out.